Top of the hour here on Al Jazeera.
Business Latest is brought to you by Qatar Gas, delivering energy to the world. Business Latest is brought to you by Qatar Gas, delivering energy to the world.
Malaysia has created amongst the world's greenest, most cost-efficient buildings and constructed the most futuristic Formula One racing circuits. Discover Malaysia's service excellence at the Malaysia Services Exhibition Abu Dhabi. Register with Matrade.
We do accept that there was very bad mistakes made in our banking area.
Behind the headlines
most South Koreans are not interested in reunification.
is the inside story at this time on Al Jazeera.
People talk about televising the revolution. It's tweeting the revolution, Facebooking the revolution, videotaping the revolution.
A new world driven by new media.
This is a very peculiar moment in media history.
Nobody can force me in 2011 to watch whatever I don't want to watch.
Analyzing the media's role in shaping modern history. The Listening Post, at this time on Al Jazeera.
Personal blogs by professional journalists. blogs.aljazeera.net. This is Al Jazeera.
Good to have you with us. Warm welcome to this news hour, coming to you live from Doha with me, David Foster, and from Al Jazeera's news centres here and in London. Continuing coverage of the uprising in Libya, and once again, Gaddafi has spoken.
Once they drink these pills, they let them go out on the streets and start committing criminal acts.
On the phone in a national television address, a rambling report. Gaddafi blames the revolt on Al-Qaeda and drug-taking youths. Gaddafi's support appears to be shrinking. Another of his closest aides defects, while another also warns Gaddafi may resort to using chemical weapons. From Libya's west, reports of casualties in fighting in the town of Zawiya. We'll hear from a witness.
I'm Stephen Cole in London with all the top stories from Europe, including Italy's exterior minister says a feared exodus from Libya will, quote, bring his country to its knees. And extradition approved. A UK judge says Julian Assange, the WikiLeaks founder, should be sent to Sweden to stand trial for sexual assault.
Libya's Muammar Gaddafi's blamed the Al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden for the uprising in his country. Speaking on state television within the last hour, Gaddafi said bin Laden had manipulated Libyans, and he urged mothers to pull their children off the streets, reiterating his belief that many of the protesters have been given drugs. At least 10 people have been killed and dozens hurt in heavy fighting in the town of Zawiya. That's not far from Tripoli, according to a Libyan newspaper. And Gaddafi loyalists continue to abandon the leader. The latest to leave the country is one of his cousins in protest at the brutal crackdown on protesters. Well, Gaddafi went on state television. We were expecting it to be televised. In the end, he just picked up the phone.
Once they drink these pills, they let them go out on the streets and start committing criminal acts. The requests are not theirs. The requests come from Bin Laden. They are. Why did Al Zawiya get involved in these issues like the Bin Laden related matters? They have been brainwashing the kids and the young people of that area, teaching them how to misbehave. And those enemies who have been training your kids, those are the ones who are under Bin Laden's influence and authority. I have become more of a symbolic leader. There are institutions that handle the issues of the state. We have the popular committees here, and everybody is represented. And those should look after these issues.
It's all been changing rapidly throughout the day in Libya. Let's try and put it in some kind of order. Now, the east of the country had reports of fresh fighting there, with pro-Gaddafi forces clashing with anti-government protesters in the coastal town of Misrata, not actually in the east of the country, but to the east of Tripoli, still in the western part of the country, while it's believed that the east is largely in the hand of the protesters. Now, in Misrata itself, witnesses are telling us there's a heavy security presence, which is about 120 kilometers away from the capital. And there's been heavy fighting in Al Zawiya, just 50 kilometers away from Tripoli. On the one side, forces loyal to Muammar Gaddafi, on the other, anti-government protesters. Well, I had a chance to talk to a man in that town, Al Zawiya, a man named Ali, who's told me what he's seen happening there.
This morning, there was about 35 military cars, which crowded by the soldiers, about 10 soldiers on every car. About 6 o'clock, they opened the fire on the unarmed naked hand people, and they continued shooting about 5 hours non-stop. They used heavy guns machines, that one which used to fight the tanks and airplanes. The people were there fighting with very small guns, you know, like hunting guns and handguns. Then didn't stop. We asked them to stop all their fires, but they didn't reply. The shooting was direct to the people. They shot the people in the head and in the chest. Direct so they were trying to kill the people, not terrifying them. After that, they stopped the fighting for about 15 minutes, and they take a round around the city.